Hello and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today. The trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday and previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, everything in between every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, that guy, James J., alongside the leader of Squad, Kaliko Yachts. Nope. And we lost Kaliko before he even came in. Maybe he wasn't even here to begin with.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, and we lost him. Okay, and the American Scooter Dust.
That kind of threw me off, so I have no smart-ass comment here, so, hello.
Condolences to Kaliko.
Yes. Holy condolences. Oh, God.
Okay, it's gonna be one of those shows. Oh,
Kaliko
Respawn. Kaliko Yachts, are you there? Go. There you go.
Yes. See, I knew I was. I think Jitsi was trying to keep me from talking about that Gangcella that happened yesterday in LA, which was the Kendrick Lamar concert.
Okay. So Jitsi Meets cares about Kendrick Lamar for some apparent reason.
Hey, if you saw that concert and saw how black it was, yeah, I'd cut it off too. If I was not black, that is.
Well, it was a good week for Wrestling Wit as we interviewed Ozzy Miller on Tuesday and Nina on Wednesday. Two incredible interviews, two individuals that have their whole careers ahead of them, just getting started. Really excited to see what they got coming up next. You could definitely go into the archives to check out those interviews. This upcoming Monday, yes, we're bringing back the Monday interviews for the ending of the month. We got the general manager of Pro Wrestling Society, Ozzy Blaze. Interesting interview as it's the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to Korean pro wrestling. We talk about some of the big names that's been there, some of the upcoming names, women's wrestling coming to Korea, and a hell of a lot more. On this Tuesday, our 300 interview, I should say, we have Brian Anderson, the founder of WrestleMap. We talk about wrestling all over the world, wrestling in Nepal, wrestling in Africa, kind of getting into a wrestling war in Iraq himself. We talk about his podcast and why Home Depot store, not Home Depot, a Home Depot store in California holds his fate, and a lot more. It's definitely an interesting, fun interview. And then on this Wednesday, we have Evan Golden, second generation wrestler, rivals to the Kazanas. We talk about all of that. Growing up in the business, a couple of fun stories, and having a snake put on him when he has a fear of snakes. But don't take my word for it. Here's some clips now. Can you tell us about your involvement with Joey Janela?
Yeah, Joey came to South Korea in 2022. That was a huge show for us because that was our biggest show back after the pandemic. And yeah, Joey's he's fucking crazy, man. There's nothing else I can say. Him and he worked Joe Kyung Ho. His his nickname is the best wrestler in Korea, and he's been working for 15 years. Worked Japan, bunch of different countries. So Joe Kyung-ho versus Joey Janela. That was still the craziest match we've ever had by far.
From an actual war to a war you inadvertently got involved in, and that's the Iraq wrestling war.
Iran, yes, Iran, yeah. Yeah, that was man, that was interesting. So there's a couple rival groups there. There's the IWG, Iran Wrestling Group, and Iran Pro Wrestling, and they do not like each other. They're based in the same city, and I don't know the full story on what happened there. I think there was some kind of falling out where, I think the formation of IPW came after a group left IWG, and they started their own thing. And both sides, they definitely let me know that they were not happy that I was covering the other, and I even got some threatening messages and things like that. So yeah.
I don't think that there's more of a drawback than interactions with live animals, and you've had a snake put on you multiple times.
Yeah, I have. I don't think I've talked about this on any shows, so this is kind of news. I have a massive, and I'm talking about a legitimate phobia. I'm sure if I go to a doctor, they would probably diagnose something. I have a huge phobia and fear of snakes, and it's because I almost got bit by one once. I was in the woods a few years ago, and I about got bit by a rattlesnake, and it was like, oh, I know. And I didn't even know, I live in North Carolina, and I didn't even know that they had rattlesnakes here. But I was at a buddy's house, and I about got bit by one, right? And it was like 8 feet long. I remember when it was slithering away, I was just speechless at how, and my buddy that I was at his house with, he lived on, the top of a mountain. So if it would have bit me, we probably wouldn't have even made it to the hospital. So anyways, ever since then, I've had a horrible fear of snakes. I can't even look at them or think about them. And I don't even, even if I see them in a movie, I'll turn away, and my buddies are like, dude, it's just a movie. And I'm like, no, I can't even look. And, I just can't do it.
Alright, I think we're done putting ourselves over. No, Scooter?
I'd say so.
Before I do stop putting ourselves over, most of July is already in the books. We have on the 2nd Congo Khan, on the 3rd Clara Carter, on the 9th Ash Silva, on the 10th Solomon Stride, on the 16th Savannah Stone, on the 17th Madness, on the 23rd Vegan Thunderbolt, on the 24th we have Guillermo, and on the 31st we have Zombie Dragon. Alright, now we're done putting ourselves over. That being said, it is indeed a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with the news. And I don't think, obviously we'll get into everything Clash at the Castle at the in our next segment, but I don't think there was more to talk about than the Wyatt Sick debuting on Monday. Definitely a very all-inspiring, somewhat melancholy debut. Scooter, what were your thoughts on the Wyatt Six? Or Sick?
It's SICK6, so they're doing the whole weird thing. If there's anything wrong with this, it's that. That's all I'm going to say. But
you love your grandma.
This was, it was surreal,
Oh yeah.
and it is times have changed in pro wrestling when they finally approach the topic of death, and they turn it into a story or a gimmick, which hasn't happened since Benoit and Mr. McMahon blowing up.
I mean Paul Bearer with the arm.
No. I mean that wasn't. No, that wasn't. Plus, he would come back too. But the fact that there were people blown away, and I don't mean like impressed. I mean literally with bullet holes in their heads. Like Chad Gable. I'm like, well, if Gable didn't resign, you got a great way to write him out.
He actually did resign.
I know. I mean, it could have been Ricochet too.
If he only waited a week.
But it's like you had literally everybody down. You had everybody from Braun Strowman to and to Triple H. They were all down there. You just have to take a look.
Right.
Oh shit. Uh-oh. This just in. Hikuleo on SmackDown.
Alright. Is he Tali Tonga?
I have no idea. But to see Nikki crawling out as Sister Abigail, to see Eric Rowan as Ramblin' Rabbit, to see Dexter Lumis as Mercy, as the Buzzard, Joe Hendry as
Joe Gacy. Joe Henry was on NXT.
I know. And oh my God, he's right behind me, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yep. Oh God, let me guess. He's right in front of me.
I believe in Joe Henry. We'll get to that in a bit as well.
And what did I always say about if they were ever going to do something like this? What should the mask look like?
Bray?
A combination of Howdy and the Fiend. That's what we got. I love the fact that this is how dark Bray wanted to get with his character. And oh shit, never mind. No, I don't. It's Jacob Fatu, not Hikuleo. That being said, the fact that Bray not being here and sets his creations free, and it gives them a whole new purpose in everything, and a whole new way to redefine them, and it's absolutely. Oh man, that was inspired. That was just like it was just so awesome to see. And
yeah.
oh yeah, and yeah, yeah. The big thing going around today is at least the biggest trend right now is analog horror, and that's how they were promoting. That's what they were doing with the messages and the codes and the VHS filters and whatnot. That's how you correctly tap into a trend.
Right. All right. Kaliko, your thoughts on the Wyatt Sick? Or Sick? It's going to take me a minute to get that down.
Well, it could have been worse. It could have been 6 the way that X-Pac spelled it. So hey.
Oh, very true.
So it could be worse. But this was it. I wanted to jump on something that Scooter said. It was like they allowed the creation to be free, right? And that just goes to show like all the back tape that Bray had to deal with, because a lot of people were getting frustrated with the Fiend. You know what I mean? And it just goes to show like it wasn't due to his lack of creativity. It was just due to the fact that, I mean, let's keep it a bug. It almost seemed like if it wasn't a Vince idea, it wasn't gonna go down, right? Especially in an era where like we saw like, what was it? Prime example, Zack Ryder with the YouTube show. It got over, and it got over without using the WWE interface. Does that make?
Yeah.
And not owning those ideas. So it was honestly, I think that was a really big deal with the intro. The fact that the lantern was there, all of them congregating together to the lamp at the end, which was very ominous. I had someone text me, is Chad Gable dead? So it was real enough and it was big enough that somebody actually, questioned the mortality of a wrestler. So it reached the intended audience, is what I'm trying to say. It got the buzz that it was supposed to be. Now the question is, where do they go from here? And please don't fuck it up. I think Triple H will treat this as his baby. And I think he's going to be way more involved in it than anything to make sure it goes within the ideas of how Bray was going to go. And I hope that they have a notebook with all these ideas, so that way it can show a notebook of his ideas, so that can come to fruition to show the genius that he was behind the stage.
I like the first time they showed Howdy when on in that segment, he looked so much like Bray, and he was acting so much like Bray, like legitimate goosebumps, if I'm being honest. And like you said, where do you go from here? And it does seem, from what if you believe in the rumor and innuendos, as we all like to say, they have big plans for the Wyatt Sick. On both, not just on Raw, but on SmackDown as well. They feel like it can go the right way. The biggest problem with Bray Wyatt was it was always the story, but the story never translated to an actual match. The match wouldn't necessarily leave you satisfied. So I feel like now that it's Bo Dallas, and there is some it's not all just Bray Wyatt's idea. It is being filtered through Bo and Triple H. these stories that they do come up with, I feel like they're going to translate well to an actual blow-off match rather than, what Bray was doing when, he was this character. You understand?
Yeah, I think that honestly the best thing that they could do, aside from, clearly have them wrestle more than the Fiend did, but have them as a stable, but you still kind of keep them apart, where they each have their own individual feud, and they screw with their own opponent and whatnot, and then eventually, and then you bring them back together. There are lots of ways this could play out. I see one way of it failing, and that's if Alexa Bliss gets involved.
Why would you say that would make it fail?
Because it would, with our luck, Alexa Bliss would try, in terms of storyline, would try to undo it and set them free. Because as far as we are concerned, they're demons. They are demons. They are demon forms of the Firefly Funhouse.
I mean, true, but even when the Undertaker got in the ring, he bled. It does. You do have to bring it back to, a little bit of reality to some point. It can't be all deities and demons.
Well, if they don't start Raw on Monday with somebody waking up, I think people are going to be very, very confused.
Did anybody else notice that the only person that walked through the door was Nikki, but the rest of them didn't go through the door? They came out from the side of the door?
Yep.
I feel like,
Yeah.
it was maybe too noticeable not to be a coincidence, no?
I think it puts emphasis on the fact that Nikki is Sister Abigail, and while Howdy might be the de facto leader, it's
clear that she's the ringleader.
Yeah. I mean, it was always inferred that Sister Abigail was more powerful than Bray, than the Fiend. So, and it makes sense that, that it's her. I mean, she's had the crazy gimmicks.
Right.
The question remains is, are they also going to let them be who they are underneath the mask?
That's a good question. I feel like Dexter Lumis wasn't on WWE TV enough for people to maybe remember or care at this point. And Joe Gacy's a brand new character on WWE TV, so, there's nothing you really have to do there.
Yeah, but how do you wrestle in those masks?
Yeah, I don't think they're wrestling in those masses. Unless they alter them to make them more a smaller version in order
form-fitting.
Form-fitting, yes. But But I mean, you could have Eric Rowan take off the mask, and people
Yes.
are going to know who he is. And he's more associated with Bray Wyatt than even Bo is at this point. People know who he is.
Just please, no more, spiders in boxes.
I mean, it's better than little people. What was I getting at? Oh yeah. If I'm just being honest, I'm happy that they're giving Bo Dallas this spotlight. And it's unfortunate to say, but I feel like maybe Bray walked so Bo can run. I wish that it didn't have to end the way that it did for that to happen. But I do feel like this has the makings of being the next Undertaker in all sense of the word.
True. It just made sense that Bo would be the person to take the flag, because keep in mind, we did have a death and someone continued a legacy, and it wasn't a family member, and like Eddie Guerrero, it would have naturally been Chavo, but it ended up going to Mysterio.
Right, but that's a whole other conversation for another time.
That's a whole other can of worms. Yeah. But I'm just saying, it's nice that it goes to the family of, not saying that Mysterio wasn't considered family, but I always think when it comes to these things of legacy, it's cool. It's nice for friends to do it, but it means more if the family is carrying that legacy.
Right.
Plus, it says something about what they are thought of as a talent by booking, by being given this opportunity. How many times did we expect Bo Dallas to be on the release list?
I mean, at the time, he wasn't really doing anything.
Yeah, he wasn't. That's the thing. It's funny because I think aside from Nikki, each one of them has been released and retired.
Yeah, Dexter was fired. Joe Gacy wasn't fired.
Gacy? Gacy was the only one. But he was hella in the background. That's for sure.
But he was still also actively competing on NXT too, while the whole thing was going
on. Gacy wasn't fired. He wasn't wrestling for NXT when he was fired.
No. I don't think Gacy was actually released.
No, I don't think so. I think you're confused with the big guy that was with Gacy at the time. Scarlett Parker Boudreaux, Renee.
Parker Boudreaux.
Yeah.
Bordeaux.
Oh yeah, Bordeaux.
I'm more of a Cabernet man. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. Already over 25 million views on all social media, so literally everybody was talking about it. People was also talking about this on Raw as well. The return of Seth Rollins. Which, if I'm being honest, came out of nowhere. I didn't see, on any news forums that Seth was scheduled to come back. And the last thing I heard about him was that he had knee surgery and he was recovering at home. So, what happened in the last 60 days that Seth Rollins has come back to WWE? Kaliko, do you have a thought?
Honestly, that was out of nowhere. Either he heals like Wolverine, or that injury wasn't as big of a deal. Because him popping out of nowhere and jumping himself in the Money in the Bank match was crazy. Now, the only problem, I only got one problem with it. And I know why they didn't do it, but it still kind of bothers me. So you telling me this dude pops back up and doesn't get his rematch?
I mean, Seth is getting his rematch.
Yeah. No, he put himself in the Money in the Bank.
No, it's Priest and Rollins for the title.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I was about to say, bro, because the way they made it sound, the way he was talking, it made it seem like he was going, Money in the Bank. But this makes this Punk, Seth, Priest, McIntyre square even crazy. I'm just telling you, because you could easily see a Punk Rollins at SummerSlam now. You could easily see a Punk McIntyre. You could easily see, so it just gives so many dance partners. And he came, honestly, at the right time. Because at this point, Damian needs that guy to kind of wrangle with. Because eventually, Seth and Punk, not Seth and Punk, but McIntyre and Punk, they're going to have to figure that out. And eventually Punk and Rollins are going to get back into it. So it gives Damian a formidable foe to where you can actually legitimately see him lose the title. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, not saying that McIntyre wasn't that guy, but it's more targets on his back, and now the stories are infinite at this point, like a fucking Marvel universe.
Do you think this is him wanting to come back, or do you think this is maybe WWE calling him back because they might not have somebody to fill a position for Priest to wrestle?
No, I think, honestly, well, now that you think it that way, it could be both, but when you think of Rollins' legacy, I mean, if he's not dying, he's in the ring.
Very true.
So it very well fits within who he is as a professional wrestler to be the type of person that would come back early as shit.
Well, I completely understand his mentality, but, is it the wisest decision to come back even though you're clear, doesn't mean you're 100% healthy. You know what I mean?
True, but I think, well, if that was the case, they would have had to strip the title for him and he wouldn't have wrestled back-to-back nights.
I mean, true. Really?
Like, if it was that serious.
I mean, I feel like we'll kind of get a clear picture of what's kind of going on with Seth Rollins after Money in the Bank. I feel like he could have maybe popped off after Money in the Bank because, like you said, Seth wants to be at every big show. And, SummerSlam is the second biggest show. So, he could have maybe planned something after Money in the Bank leading into SummerSlam, but again, I worry for his health that he's maybe he's pushing himself more than he should.
The only way I see this is going is if it's a fatal four-way at SummerSlam.
Yeah, it's very convoluted at this point. Scooter, your thoughts on it?
Well, it's after SmackDown last night and after Raw. It's kind of clear they're going with a very different Money in the Bank match in terms of participants. As you've got Jey Uso, as of last night, you've got Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. And on the women's, you have Chelsea Green. And all those matches involved, one of the top stars. Carmelo's match involved Randy Orton, and Andrade's match involved Kevin Owens. And next week, you have LA Knight, Logan Paul, and Santos Escobar, which, if it's
it has to be Escobar.
Yeah, I mean, if they're clearly trying to go with Logan and Knight for the U.S. title.
Yes. Well,
I mean, it's going to be like a full of first timers.
We were talking about Seth Rollins coming back prematurely.
So, and going back to what you were saying about, did they not have anyone for Priest to face? And it kind of seems like they're putting Priest more in with Dom's story than his own. See, I know at least one thing they could have done where it didn't have to involve Seth Rollins that they could have done at Money in the Bank. They could have done a Bad Bunny Damian Priest too.
He does hold a victory over Damian.
That would have been interesting. I think, though, they could have done it. It's just a matter of how do you re-inject that into it, right?
The rivalry's built in. He beat him in Puerto Rico.
It's built in. It's just more like, how do you pull Bad Bunny into that fray? Because at this point, it seems like it's more of a Damian Judgment Day trying to keep shit together while the glue is gone.
See, the right thing to do, because the right thing to do involves somebody winning the Money in the Bank and cashing it in on Priest. And of course, I'm talking about Finn Balor.
Yes, the great minds think alike. I literally said that.
This is gonna turn out to be some sort of it's gonna be another coup. It's gonna be another Judgment Day coup. Rhea will turn face.
Rhea's already a face.
I know.
She's literally the only one getting cured.
But they won't turn Dominic, though. They won't attempt to because it'll turn out that Dominic and Liv were actually working together the whole time.
Right.
Could they have done a why not They could have done Priest and Truth.
That would have been interesting.
I mean, but
that would have been,
would you have expected?
But that story ended at Mania. That story ended at Mania, though. But I get it.
It's just a lot. A lot. It can. There's so many ways for this to go, and it just. Priest's reign so far hasn't, been noteworthy. So maybe that essentially is why Seth was brought back. He needs a real title defense victory. Against somebody like Seth, and needs it clean.
Well, speaking of,
I don't think it's going to be clean, but I mean, and to Scooter's point, you can say Truth, but the thing is this: I've never seen Priest is in a situation to where he's a beatable champion. But yet, there's nobody on that roster that you would believe is beatable to him. Right?
Wow.
On the Raw roster, right?
That is a paradox, to say the least.
It is. Well, the reason I say that is because the heavy hitters he already kind of went through. He already went through McIntyre and Uso, which were the two biggest names on Raw at this moment. So he kind of needs a Seth because Punk ain't coming back anytime soon, and Punk is gonna be a little bit busy with. Well, he's coming back, but he's gonna be busy with Drew because Drew is on that ass.
Yes.
Like Kendrick on Drake. But
last night, Drew McIntyre pretty much basically almost murdered CM Punk.
Close to a Chad Gable murdering.
Yeah, they're getting real good with that fake blood.
Oh yeah, they're getting good. So I mean, that's my point. So that shows you where it is. So it's one of those things where it's like he's a champion with no legit challengers to play with, and this is where I was having it. It has to come from within. See, unlike Roman, where Roman was so dominant, this one has to come from within, which is Finn.
But
I mean, it could be a swerve, and it's DJ.
JD, you mean?
JD,
DJ. Who the fuck cares?
See,
the Funko guy.
I was thinking about who. The structure of the Money in the Bank match and who's in it. And the last time they kind of had, a match that didn't exactly have, wasn't full of all-stars. And what happened was Brock Lesnar entered the match towards the end and just climbs up and takes the case.
That was 2019?
Yeah, something like that with the Brock party.
Yeah.
If they're bringing Seth back, I would not be surprised if they pull the cord on Roman doing what Brock did.
Ooh.
Because as of now, Roman is a face.
But Roman...
The crowd was chanting, "We want Roman."
Just because the crowd wants Roman doesn't mean when he comes back that he's not just going to hug Solo and start beating on Cody Rhodes. That being said, I don't think that's going to happen, but he's very much firmly planted in SmackDown. He's kind of rooted. So doing anything with Seth kind of feels like it's not as big of a beef, even though, there's all that history there. Does that make sense?
I mean, unless they're gonna, unless I'm finally getting loose in a WWE ring.
Maybe a NXT ring.
But it's...
Yeah, you get Moose and Trick before you get Moose.
I mean, you can... Shit, you know what? I just realized something. SummerSlam's in Cleveland.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Who's from Cleveland? Logan Paul.
Yeah.
No, you bet not. No. I mean, Paul just challenged for the title. I don't see it. I don't see that. I mean, he's going to switch and go to, unless, the only way that would happen is if he loses the title and then has the briefcase, loses the title at SummerSlam, wins the title that same night.
Don't forget Gunther.
Very true.
But Gunther's getting, that's right. Gunther's going to fight. He's fighting him at SummerSlam.
Yes,
it's Gunther
and SummerSlam is 2 nights now. No, that's in 2026.
No, it's 1 night. Yeah, next year.
Okay. We are going very down this rabbit hole, so I'm going to pull us out and talk about our next piece of news. And that being, Joe Henry made his triumphant debut on NXT TV. They said his name, he did appear. Do you believe in Joe Henry?
Is that an open question? Because, I mean, we were having this conversation off air. That just tells me a lot of people ninja watch TNA more than they like to admit. Because that makes no sense that guy got that many views as his debut. Now,
7 million views. Only second to the Wyatt Six.
One of the most liked clips since WrestleMania.
Very true. I mean, when Joe Henry's contract comes up, are you thinking you want to put money down on this guy?
No. I mean, Joe Henry was surprised at the reaction he got, that it was so big, and that the fans were pissed when, essentially Kaz threw him out. And yes, Kazarian, who's finally taking a break from trying to kill me, being back on as well. And being in the final 4 of that Battle Royal. I mean, that was... I kind of expected it to be Sean Spears, Lexus King, and Ethan Page. But Ethan Page, of course, didn't get in. That's what I thought was going to happen. Ethan Page was going to come back in and dump Javon, the flyy guy, which for some reason they're pushing him to the friggin' moon for stuff. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Eric Young. Eric Young is quite pleased with how this relationship is working out. There's another relationship to talk about. With Noah, but
yeah, we'll get into that in a bit.
Yes, and
So, yeah, Joe. I think Joe Henry on NXT. Honestly, Joe Henry's always got a pop, except in England. They can't stand his guts still. And I'm happy for him that he's got maybe a little bit of shine on him from WWE. And like you said, Kazarian was in that same match. To see Kazarian kind of sort of get his flowers in a way,
and to hear Vic Joseph use the term "give his flowers."
Did he?
Yep.
Oh God.
Because when I immediately thought of you, James.
I'm super happy to see Kazarian getting his flowers on NXT, getting that notoriety at least once. All in all, a good moment for everybody. Kaliko, anything you wanted to add?
I mean, that was bananas. You know the funny thing I noticed because I kept watching it over and I don't know why I was watching it over and over, but when you see his face, right, he was literally trying to hold back like that euphoric feeling, right? Because especially as a guy like that who doesn't even think, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Think if you've been in like people don't notice you, and then you realize they really know who you are. It's just like it's like a feeling unlike anything else on earth, man. So congrats to him. Now let's see what they do with it. So it's kind of like Bo Dallas. It's like the new Bo Dallas. It's the new Bo Dallas. It's funny that Bo Dallas went to be the Scott guy, and now his gimmick is being taken by Joe Hendry. It's just weird. So it's a good time to be in wrestling right now. It's a good time.
That being said, after his loss to Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles was announced for a medal match. That match in Japan for Pro Wrestling Noah against wrestling legend Marufuji. Damn. You know, AEW wants to say, oh, we give you dream matches, the forbidden door, this person's going to be on here, this person's going to be there. I feel like WWE is at the point of, okay, well, hold my beer. They really give you forbidden door matches out of fucking nowhere that you do actually want to see. This obviously WWE has somewhat of a relationship with Noah because a couple years ago they gave Nakamura to wrestle Keiji Muto, Great Muta. So I mean there is conversation and talks between the two companies. I don't think anything's come up between them since that time. But what are your thoughts? Dream match, AJ Styles, Marufuji, Scooter.
It's definitely going to be one to watch. It's this might be the one dream match that of the WWE that Dave Meltzer gives 10 stars to.
I don't know. There's a WWE guy in it. He's not that generous. He doesn't want to upset his girlfriend, Tony Khan.
Chin up. Tits out. Watch for the shoot.
Kaliko?
Well, I mean, this is the biggest part of like getting to hold my beer bitch, because the fact that Joe Hendry got more views on his debut than Okada, Sasha Banks, and Edge combined says everything you need to know.
Yeah, I would say so.
You know you don't know who those people are because you don't watch wrestling like that.
really? The only people I know is John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Hulk Hogan.
What do you learn Hulk Hogan?
Sorry that my son pops in, showing his wrestling knowledge. Fun fact, he can rap Kendrick Lamar, not like us. So, hey, there's something there.
Yeah. So, keeping up with WWE news, obviously big things happening. Indiana is getting the Rumble in 2025. Possibly WrestleMania and SummerSlam after that. They signed a multiple year contract with the city.
It would be the first Royal Rumble to take place in February.
Yeah.
It's currently scheduled for February 1st.
That's interesting. That's definitely interesting. Things on... it's kind of the same, but also not in the same breath. Obviously, WrestleMania is a little later this year as well. So I kind of understand where they want to maybe push Royal Rumble, because Rumble has been in the last week in January, the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's usually always been the week before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
See, now the question is, where is SummerSlam 2025 going to happen?
I mean, they keep saying it. They keep teasing it.
No, I'm wondering if they're actually going to skip 2025.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, in favor of going to yet another country.
I mean, I feel like it's too big of an event for them to leave that money on the table.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, maybe they'll do SummerSlam in Hawaii. At the Aloha Bowl.
What say you, Kaliko? Your thoughts on Indiana getting Royal Rumble?
Honestly, it's interesting. I mean, it's an indoor arena. Indianapolis is cool as shit.
Lucas Oil Stadium.
Because they did have the national title there, so I wouldn't put it too far. In downtown Indianapolis got a little something to do. It's interesting, but I'm still trying to. Yeah, I'm like 2025. What the? It's like they're giving all. I mean, but I think this is the new format. They're putting these deals with stadiums that are more Midwest, because they probably won't have the pull to bid and win in destination cities, right? Because if you leave it up to the people, where would they go for the Royal Rumble? Miami or Indianapolis, right? So it's a little bit to spread the love. And I already told you this. This is what they're doing. It's going to be these Midwest cities are going to get a shot at some of these pay-per-views that are not WrestleMania oriented. Because when you think WrestleMania oriented, you think of WrestleMania week. And when you think WrestleMania week, you usually want to do it in a city where people can like actually be about the city for the week. I mean, Vegas alone a week in Vegas is bananas, but it's just, like Vegas, Miami, New York, Chicago when they get their shit together, Nashville when that shit pops up. a Houston, a Dallas, a LA, those type of areas where people are just naturally congregating to that city.
You know, they did say, like I said, it's a multiple-year deal that could possibly have WrestleMania and SummerSlam in Indiana. Like you said, I don't necessarily think we're going to get a WrestleMania in Indiana for the same.
Let's not forget WrestleMania 8.
The Hoosier Dome?
The Hoosier Dome, which was one of it was at the time the biggest, one of the biggest WrestleManias.
And they learned their lesson since.
Yes. But the Hoosier Dome itself is been replaced by Lucas Oil Stadium.
Well, like I said, I don't necessarily feel like it's kind of like Minneapolis, wanting WrestleMania, getting SummerSlam.
Yes, because when you think of summer, you think of Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nothing says summer fun like Indianapolis, Indiana.
Like, I'm still waiting for Dunkirk, Idaho to get a Survivor Series, or Helena, Montana.
Boise, Idaho.
So,
Walla Walla.
it seems like
Oh, wow.
it seems like everybody wants it, but only a select few states are actually going to get it.
Well, that's how it goes, man. If you're in a city that sucks, it sucks to be you.
See, because now they're holding out for manias that will that will literally be destination manias.
Yeah.
In other countries, like
London, Tokyo, Australia, Sydney,
Rio.
WrestleMania Rio, bro. They know. Oh, Jesus.
They have to have an intercontinental tournament named after Pat Patterson.
Mexico City. Hell, the Bahamas.
Okay, now you're just throwing names out there.
Honolulu.
Barcelona.
No. So yeah, it does seem like I said, everybody wants it. Only select few is gonna get it. Indiana's drawing their hat in the ring to get everything as well. So.
Well, the deal's been signed.
Yeah, but I mean, they feel they're gonna get they might get a WrestleMania, but so did
I think they could. I think they'll get one.
I think they'll give them Survivor Series.
If Nashville gets one, they get one.
Nashville didn't get WrestleMania.
They're getting it in 2027.
Has that been confirmed?
Yeah.
What?
I didn't hear that.
Was it not?
WrestleMania 4.
Because they said when that stadium gets built, it's coming.
WrestleMania, which would be 43.
2027.
It is potentially Nashville.
Oh no, it will be. Bleacher Report.
Bleacher Report. Oh,
a verbal commitment to the Titans to host WrestleMania 27 if the stadium is built. If it's built,
they're going to host WrestleMania 27 again. Awesome.
2027. WrestleMania 2027. So if that building is built before 2027. You can bet your ass they're getting it. And
yeah. We shall see how that goes.
so let's just see how slow Southern construction is. No disrespect, Tennessee. I love you.
Detroit was also rumored to be bidding for 43. They're now off the table.
You know, we're talking about 42 through 46. So
yeah,
I mean,
they're talking about SummerSlam in 2 years from now. So shut.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibilities. Speaking about out of the realm of possibilities, it's rumored that Shane McMahon might be going to AEW. Kalika, Shane McMahon sign is going to be All Elite. What are your thoughts?
Jesus Christ, help us. That means Vince ain't too far behind because he wants to one up his son.
He'll go to TNA, damn it. They'll have him.
Yeah, of course, that would appear to me that Vince is actively trying to kill the WWE. I mean, Shane has supposedly Shane has reached out to a couple of his friends in AEW. I can't imagine who else aside from former WWE guys that knows Shane.
Hypothetically speaking, would Shane McMahon make any impact in AEW at this point?
No, because if Sasha Banks and Okada didn't, what the hell is...
I mean, it will get a pop from maybe the internet fans, but to actually translate into views, I highly doubt it.
There goes the money.
There goes the money. Money.
I mean,
out of dollars.
You kind of have a whole Shane McMahon, Sasha Banks kind of thing built in with that.
You're not wrong. Well, that being said, AEW, this last week on Dynamite, did their record low ratings for Dynamite. It was just a little bit over 5 million, I want to say. I don't have the numbers in front of me. But yeah, their ratings are going lower and lower. And normally I wouldn't say, I wouldn't necessarily care about the ratings, but they are in negotiations with TNT for, media rights renewal. And when you're doing literally the crappiest ratings you've ever done on that station, you wonder if they're going to renew them or not. Am I wondering right, or am I just speculating, Scooter?
I'd absolutely, I'd say you were right. They did, by the way, they did 502,000 viewers.
5,000.
They did a 0.16 share in the primary demographic, which is 7 points down from last week. So it, yeah.
If you want to hear, you know, Dave Meltzer's take on it. I mean, I think it was Dave Meltzer. It could have been some other dudes. I'm not sure. They were blaming, and I kid you not, Black Panther. Black Panther came on before AEW. They were saying, oh, well, Big Bang Theory usually comes on before AEW, and that usually does strong ratings for whatever reason. People wasn't watching Black Panther on Juneteenth. You know, and then there was other things people were watching, like the Olympic trials. There were a couple NBA games. Also, it was just a really beautiful day as well, so people were just out. There was a new gas station opened up on the corner. They opened up the lake. There was locusts, which cut out the feed for the show.
Oh God!
Somebody found a bat in their house, and they were not able to watch AEW. There was a zombie apocalypse in Washington State.
An apocalypse localized entirely within Washington State.
So yeah, literally the whole world is after AEW. But you know, instead of that being the case, instead of maybe you're just not making good content that people actually want to see, because it's been in the 6,000 range the last couple of weeks as well. So I mean, this isn't like it's not an occurrence. It's a downward pattern. You know what I mean?
Yeah, keep in mind, the first AEW did these numbers with the first match having no commercials.
Oh, gee. So you got to see Orange Cassidy without commercials?
No, it was MJF versus Rouge.
Oh, gee. Well, that put asses in seats.
Yep, put me right on the toilet bowl.
There you go. Well, if you don't like current AEW, maybe you liked what they were doing back in the day, 2019. And you can see AEW paid previews on Driller TV. Their back catalog of paid previews will be on that platform. Scooter, I have no idea what Driller TV is.
I thought the Thriller. I always thought was a
It's Thriller. Thriller is the Michael Jackson album.
No. Thriller is also the network that used to host scary movies.
That one. That's right.
Yeah. Before Shudder.
Thriller? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Thriller was the one that would I finally got to watch, you know, the Freddy Krueger TV series again, because they would always air those episodes. Triller TV is it's a subsidy of Fight. Okay. So honestly, it's really nothing new. I mean, if people are already clamoring for AEW back in the day, that's kind of sad. Because, again, how long did the WWE wait to at least attempt to do something like, it was the precursor to the WWE Network. First, you had the WWE. There was the WWE Match Archive, where it was only like like $2.99 a month. But it was all specific matches. Then there was 24/7, which of course, I always ordered, and I never told my parents who paid the kill though. And even then, that was limited.
I mean, it was limited, but you got a lot of great shit on it.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I kind of prefer 24/7 over the network, because it gave you enough to watch in a week, so when you got to the next week, they would put more stuff on it.
No, 24/7 though. They added one new event each week, and then they changed the lineup the second week.
Right.
So it's the WWE just had a channel with like they used to. But but I digress.
Getting off topic. Well, the one interesting thing I found about the AEW back catalog is that it's not like, oh, if you subscribe to Driller TV, you get all of the paid previews. Like similar like WWE is, if you subscribe to Peacock, you get WWE. No, you actually have to pay to see their paid previews over again.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Like the $50 that they stole from you the first time wasn't enough.
Well, shit.
Yeah, that's like ESPN and UFC.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Don't get me started with that. That's a crime and a half.
Would I be wrong in thinking that AEW should have been on, I don't know, Max? Considering that Max is Warner Brothers?
I was, that was the natural place. Plus, Tony Khan could do all these themed episodes of Dynamite would probably do a whole lot better if they were on a channel like, I don't know, like HBO. I mean, HBO does boxing all the time.
Not anymore.
And now Showtime does boxing and MMA and Bellator and whatnot.
Not anymore. They cut theirs off too.
Oh, really? They cut Bellator? Really? Damn.
They cut their sports division off, and that's where it hurts. So did HBO. Like for most people,
have the Brian Gumbel Real Sports, and they
still have that because the NFL is kind of pushing that. I mean, they're going to keep Real Sports with. They're going to keep Real Sports and Hard Knocks and Inside the NFL. It's just the extending sports part of it, of highlighting boxers, because they used to be like Showtime Boxing, Next Generation. HBO used to have mad fights. Boxing is kind of in this weird place where it's like once the fighters found other ways of getting onto platforms such as Trilla and Fight TV and what's the other one that Canelo's exclusively on?
DAZN?
DAZN. Yeah, so those places are getting it, and those are like $9.99 subscriptions, and all you have to do, and if you already subscribed, most of the fights you're going to be able to watch, with the exception of like a pay-per-view, like a big-time pay-per-view. But when it comes to Warner Brothers, this is the silver lining, I think, for TNA. I mean, not TNA, but for AEW with this Warner Brothers deal, is the fact that Warner Brothers is losing the best show that they have, point blank, period. They're losing the best show that they have, point blank, period, due to the fact that they didn't bid on the NBA or having NBA games. So therefore, they're losing the biggest show that they have, the most popular show that they have, which is Inside the NBA. I tell everybody to the death of me, the most popular television show is Inside the NBA. And now that is going to be broken, not even a thing, because Ernie Johnson is choosing to stay with Warner Brothers and TNT, so therefore there goes that part. Charles Barkley is retiring. God knows what they're going to do with the rest. So now it's kind of like they're doing bad, but they have leverage due to the fact that TNT already knows after next season, Inside the NBA is done. So if I were AEW, I'd hold out till Inside the NBA is actually done and kind of use that a little leverage to negotiate. Because considering that show is gone, they're going to be the most popular show by default.
I mean, but that's not saying a lot, right? I mean,
it's not saying a lot, but being number one is number one, sir, and they have to keep. And the point of Warner Brothers and TNT, they're going to have to do something to keep it popular, because the only time TNT is actually popping is during March Madness, and no one really they care the first couple of days, but that also ties into like Inside the NBA, because they had Inside the NBA crew doing that. So it all dovetails, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, they're going to be number one by attrition.
But when your number one show is only pulling in 500,000 views, you're going to want to look for something that's going to give you more than that. Obviously, the NBA and Inside NBA, I want to assume that they're pulling in more than 500,000 views. I imagine it's a couple million.
Oh yeah, because keep in mind, remember, they tried to
Kaliko, you sound pretty far away.
Oh, gosh.
There's a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
A lot of feedback. Un momento.
And we're waiting for Kaliko.
That's a good time. Check out AEW Fight Forever, currently for free on PlayStation Plus, because let's face it, nobody else would actually buy it. I played my first Stadium Stampede match and I won.
Because there was nobody in it?
Yep. It was all bots.
There you go. Y'all got me now?
Uh-huh.
All right. So, where was I?
Inside the NBA pulls in a lot more views than AEW.
Yeah, they pulled in a lot more views, but keep in mind, they tried that. Yeah, it's clear because AEW, remember, they tried to follow Inside the NBA. Like, they had a game on, they had Inside the NBA on, and then they tried to dovetail Inside the NBA into AEW. And that was a massive fail. I'm not even going to knock you on that one. My thing is this: they're going to be the most popular show that gets weekly live eyeballs, and that is going to have to mean for something, because keep in mind, this is the same television network that gave Tyler Perry about 10 seasons of Meet the Browns or Meet the Perrys or whatever the fuck it was. And if they could give them 10 seasons of that shit, I'm pretty sure they can give AEW a little bit of something.
But TNT does have the NHL.
The NHL is trying to bounce back, but my thing is it's not as global as if it's basketball.
You know, they could have been on True TV.
Yeah, I mean, it could be Crime TV or something like that.
Very true. Pop is looking for new wrestling. Hi, keeping up on bad AEW news, if you listen to Kevin Kelly's recent interview, he stated that he will be looking to pursue legal action against AEW for, I believe, wrongful termination. not great for AEW to have a lawsuit. I don't necessarily think that. I think it's more for the publicity rather than the lawsuit part on Kevin Kelly's part. But your thoughts on Kevin Kelly suing AEW, Scooter?
I mean, usually, these business people usually kind of do know what they're talking about in terms of, when they make talent sign contracts. And, I mean, Kevin Kelly's deal was not through AEW. It was a transitional from Ring of Honor.
Interesting.
So, is it a possibility Kevin Kelly really didn't understand that the time frame of his that was left on his contract? I doubt it. I doubt he's an idiot like that. But I mean, unless they're denying him unemployment, I can't imagine why he would sue. Since the reason why you sue is because you can't get unemployment.
I don't know what I only heard that he's looking to pursue it. He hasn't any. I don't think anything's been set up as of now. But what say you, Kalito?
All it is bibble babble at this point. Let them figure it out. They got bigger shit to deal with.
He's trying to. Kevin Kelly made it a point to say he was going to do this to get Tony's attention to essentially hope Tony tries to settle before anything even begins.
I like how Cassie did P. Diddy.
Maybe not as severe, but I guess so.
And with more clothes.
Alright, I think that's a great segue into our last bit of news this week. And that is Hulk Hogan wants to run for president because he knows right from wrong.
Get the fuck don't you know.
Are you saying Hulk Hogan doesn't know right from wrong? Take your vitamins and say your prayers, brother.
Okay. Doesn't feel strong about right and wrong.
Hulk Hogan got bigger issues. If he really wanted to run, he should have popped out on Juneteenth at the Kendrick Lamar concert to test his polling with the African American nation.
Well, you know something, man. Oh no, wait.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Well, I mean, his running mate has
God. No, we're not doing Vice President Brutai.
No, I was going to say Vice President Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Yeah, if Linda could barely get elected.
Well, she didn't even get elected. She got appointed, so that's a whole different thing.
Yeah. She doesn't have the influence of Vince McMahon as vice president to Hulk Hogan.
I feel like Vince would be the motherfucker running for president.
Yeah.
Then that's the transition. He has Hulk Hogan murdered. He takes the presidency, and then he becomes the president without doing half the work Hulk Hogan did. I'm writing a telenovela at this point with how this is going.
Lord Jesus.
With that mustache, I mean, come on, man.
Alright, I think we're done with the news, so quick word from our sponsors.
They believe in Joe Hendry.
And we are
believed in me.
so
Rogue Energy, the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between. Their low-calorie, no-sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar-filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0-calorie energy milkshake? First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off-brands out there that are presenting low-quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high-quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. Great as both a pre-workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue Energy, more focus, more wins.
use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. And we are wrestling with WWE Clash at the Castle. It took place last Saturday in Glasgow, Scotland, at the OVO H2O Hydro Drink Some Fucking Water Arena. The attendance was 391, and this has been pretty on par for WWE as of right now. These types of formats, when it comes to these PLEs. That being said, this one really worked for me. I honestly enjoyed what was in my TV at that time. Nothing seemed like overly long or dragging. It just kind of seemed like it flowed really well together. What say you, Scooter?
I honestly thought it was incredibly average. It wasn't anything bad, but it wasn't anything that I'm like that I'm eager to talk about. I mean, it was that's what's been on par for the WWE, in my opinion, is that they're doing these 5-match pay-per-views. They might as well just call them In Your House again. And give the people dark matches. But I mean, there was nothing really surprising coming out of this event, except for the one set of titles nobody cares about.
Correct. Kaliko.
It did what it was supposed to do, because I wasn't expecting it to be this over-the-top thing. I will say, though, the conundrum that they put themselves in, that was the most creative way to put themselves out of it, which was pretty dope. I can't even lie. The last match is what captured everybody. I think other than that, everything else was kind of par for the course. but still pretty. It was not saying that it was bad. It was good. It just wasn't what we've come to expect from like a takeover, and none of them can be, because I'm thinking they're saving all this stuff for Cleveland, because Cleveland's going to be like an 8-hour goddamn marathon. So get ready for that. But with that being said, it fulfilled the things that it needed to do, sans the one match that shocked even me. But yeah.
All right, well, let's get into it. Cody Rhodes defeated AJ Styles in an I Quit match to retain the undisputed WWE Championship in 27 minutes and 45 seconds. I think this was maybe a better match than the one that they had at Backlash. There was some color, there was some unexpected spots. It did enough without being over the top. I do feel like maybe the ending was a little bit lackluster.
Yes.
I mean, other than that, I didn't have too many issues with it. Scooter.
I mean, it was a good match. It just, it was just a bit too predictable.
Kaliko?
Yep, pretty much that. I mean, the only thing that made sense out of this, and the only thing the best thing I picked up from the match was really after the match. Because if you notice when Solo and them jumped them, and you saw how Randy got close to that title and had a bit of a look in his eye before it faded to black. So it's getting there. The eggs are there.
How many stars do you give this one, Scooter?
I will give it 4 stars.
Kalika?
Ooh, 4, man. I'm 3.5 just because of the way it ended. AJ said I quit because he's a side rail? Like, all right.
I give it 4 as well. So just a solid match.
Damn, I'm Simon Cowell in this bitch.
We have a triple threat tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. The Unholy Alliance, Tajiri and Super Crazy, defeated Bianca Belair, Jade Gargle, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Starks. Kaylee Ray and Isis Dawn. They won. If I'm being honest, this was a super sloppy match. It was botch after botch. Definitely not necessarily anything you want to write home about. And I'm shocked that Dawn and Fire literally did not lose championships the next night on Raw. Back to Gargle and Bianca. The championships, like Scooter said, don't necessarily mean anything. Everybody's had them at this point. Me and Scooter has been the women's tag team champions at this point.
Yep.
So yeah.
Wow.
With Kaliko as the freebird role.
The freebird role. We've been the women's tag title champions with the freebird role. I'm down for it, I guess.
What say you, Scooter?
1.5 stars.
Damn, that's all you have to say.
Yes, that's all I have to say.
Kaliko, do you have more to say?
I knew when they won, all the other hometown cast was about to get their ass whooped. That's all.
Yeah.
2 stars.
I give it 2.5 just because I did not see Dawn and Kaylee Ray winning. So that was the one on the. Actually, I did because Kaylee got choked out by Baszler the Monday before. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Oh, the Alberto Del Rio rule.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start calling it that. The Alberto Del Rio triple threat rule. The person who has nothing to do with it wins the goddamn match.
But yet they're still treating it like it's a friggin' tag team match, despite the fact that there are no disqualifications or countouts.
Very true. Alright, then we got Sami Zayn defeating Chad Gable to retain the Intercontinental Championship in 22 minutes and 15 seconds. Honestly, this was better than no match on Raw. A lot of just good back and forward. Some psychology. It does get tiring to, fucking do something, Otis. Don't sit there like all the fucking shit. And it could have meant more if Otis turned on Gable, but it might have taken away from the actual match that they had, which honestly was just a banger. But I digress. Scooter?
It was a good match. The fact that they have Otis, actually mention Tucker and Mandy Rose. In the build up to this, it was interesting. I wouldn't have minded seeing Gable win.
That was definitely yeah.
But with first, Gable was out of his Money in the Bank qualifying match. Now he's back in.
Then he got murdered.
I have a feeling Chad Gable might be getting that push.
And I'm thinking that maybe as well, but that might be a conversation for another time. Galika?
Yeah, I really thought Gable was gonna win. The one thing that I hate about these people turning heel is it's like, don't turn them heel just to turn them heel sake. Like, there's got to be a payoff at some point for it, right?
Right.
You don't go to the dark side just to get your ass beat. You go to the dark side because you think it's going to be better for you.
And they have cookies.
Very true.
So I thought Gable would have won. I understand Sami winning. Maybe this will do something better for Gable with Money in the Bank. I gotta figure out who is all in the field before I make that conclusion. But, right now he's dealing with the goddamn crew. I mean, it's just weird with how they booked him since turning, because he's had 4 or 5 title shots. Just none of them come to fruition.
Very true.
So when will the payoff come? Is what I'm.
Scooter, how many stars?
I gave this one 4.
Kalika?
3.5. Just because of the fact Gable keeps getting burned.
I give it 4 as well. Solid match. Could have been 5 if Chad actually won, but I digress. All right.
God damn, I'm Simon Cowell tonight. Well, with the exception of Jay Cargill in them, but yeah.
Bayley defeated Piper Niven to retain her.
Next.
Oh God, what a God that was it the tag team match that had that really terrible air raid crash spot, or was it Bailey and Piper Niven?
I don't remember any crazy spills.
From the no, it was a tag team match.
Okay. I mean, it was a solid match. But it is a sad situation when you have a women's title match and you're talking about Chelsea Green in a luchador mask.
Well, because the problem is it was the hometown girl, but Bailey is more over than the hometown girl.
Yeah, right.
How to put her in a fucked up situation? I mean, even with Rhea Ripley and goddamn Zelina Vega, at least Puerto Rico understood the assignment. God damn. We cheer for our own, but shit.
Yep, they wanted them some Billy. Or they wanted to know if she'll be there or go.
Yes.
Alright, Scooter, how many stars?
2.
Kaliko?
3. See, look at that. I'm on these 3.
I give it 3 as well. Nothing, like I said, nothing to necessarily write home about. When Chelsea Green in a luchador mask is the biggest thing that happens in your match. Alright, and then you have the main event, the match that everybody wanted to see. Damian Priest defeated Drew McIntyre to retain the World Heavyweight Championship in 20 minutes and 20 seconds in Drew's home country of Scotland. You say the crowd didn't understand the assignment. They understood the assignment in this one. They were popping off for Drew. And if I'm being completely honest, like Scooter said at the top of the show, Priest's title run has been somewhat lackluster since he's got it. This match really presented him in a great light that showed him as a champion properly, as a superstar, like he should be viewed as, a world champion. There was that crazy spot with his leg, but if I'm being honest, it only played to the drama of the match even better. Everything worked for me, and kudos to WWE for having the balls to have CM Punk come in Scotland and screw Drew McIntyre out of the title. Like, fucking wow. Scooter?
I mean, if AJ can travel all the way to Saudi Arabia,
Australia,
same difference. There's a lot of sand. Why shouldn't Punk have been there? And he wasn't on the pre-show, so this was a genuine surprise. So
right.
I mean,
even the camera angles were fantastic.
Yeah, the camera work on this, where Michael Cole is like, "All right, we got another referee finally," and he doesn't see who it is until we all find out who it is.
It was so smart to put him in a long sleeve T-shirt, so you didn't see you covered up the tattoos, so you don't know immediately.
And the fact that it was a female's referee shirt.
Right.
I thought we were going to see, I thought we were going to see Jessica Carr take off her shirt. It's just like, okay, here you go, Punk.
Right. Okay. Kaliko?
Well, we had our preview with this, and I was like, there's a conundrum, and I think the only way they could do it is if Punk costs him the title. And lo and behold, and I kind of figured Punk would cost him the title, but the pettiness in which he did it, because he came to the ring, counted the 2, and he threw the deuces like the Drew McIntyre shirt on the grave.
Right.
That's what made it fucking. I was like, yo, the pettiness to that just showed Punk was petty to the details about it. Of course it cost him the match, and Drew plays it to the. And someone said it was like a new character unlocked, Mad Max Drew, because Drew was fucking. he damn near was about to choke out Corey Graves, and Graves like, bro, I ain't got shit to do with this. But it was a great way to get them out of that situation while furthering the preponderant story of Punk and McIntyre. And this is the best part of it, because here's the funny kicker. In Glasgow, he's a heel. Glasgow, he's a face. And Punk's a heel. Honestly, when you think about this rivalry, and most people were thinking, like, who's the heel, who's the face? Honestly, this is the very first time you see a shade of gray in the sense of, like, it just depends on whose perspective you see the best. Because when you look at it from a Punk perspective, and this is not shitting on Damian, but Punk's perspective is, this motherfucker cost me my shot at WrestleMania by fucking up my arm, so I'm going to fuck up his shit wherever chance I get that means the most to him. Drew, and he keeps fucking antagonizing about me. Drew, you see it because you're like, bitch, I had the best moment of my life. This motherfucker fucked up my shit. And then he came back and I didn't like his ass. So it's great. And they haven't even touched it. Honestly, this is the best rivalry that they have.
Oh, yeah.
And they haven't even hit the ring yet.
It is rumored that when they finally do Punk and McIntyre, which is going to be soon, that they're actually going to bring back First Blood.
Ooh. I mean,
at this point, they would have to, because other than the fact that somebody getting shot, that's the like, it's gonna have to. Because honestly, when you look at them, it's literally a serve on site with these two.
Right. And it's crazy. Punk. Obviously wanted the WrestleMania moment with Seth, but this was honestly a blessing in disguise. I mean, the nuclear, pops that both guys are getting because of this rivalry. And to think it literally just fell into their lap because Drew said, I prayed this would happen to you. Like, you could have did the match, like, a couple weeks later.
Right there.
It would have been, it would have been massive. But considering that this has been cooking since January, like, fuck, this is, like, take my money. Here is my money. I want to see this match.
Here's the thing, is that Punk turned the wordplay around on him. He said, Drew prayed for bad things to happen to me, so I prayed on Drew. PREY.
Yep.
Right.
So, I mean, if anything, this reminded me of Survivor Series Deadly Game.
Well,
I was thinking things about female where it's like stalking the shit out of him, but
no, where Shane comes into count for Mankind and then gives him the finger. I figure that's Punk doing two of them.
Well, and kudos to Drew for keeping with the storyline, and I can't imagine that it wasn't discussed that he wins the title in Scotland, but it made more sense for him to lose in Scotland for the Punk rivalry, to just give that extra push for the rivalry he has. Because if Drew has the championship, then he has nothing to complain about. All of that goes away. And his character right now is a complainer. Everybody screws me.
So he quit.
Yeah. And then he beat CM Punk like a dog on SmackDown.
He beats the brakes off his like an accomplice to murder.
Here's the thing. Oh crap! I lost my train of thought. McIntyre. Let's face it. They did this. They do Clash at the Castle for the Scottish and British and Irish, the UK talent, and it's been Drew in the main event. It's like, oh, we're there. That means it's automatically Drew. And at what point does that stop happening before nobody believes Drew can win it in his home country? It could be a very interesting parallel to the Undertaker's WrestleMania streak.
Well, it fits into his complainer gimmick because you got to think both times that he was in there, people fucked him over both times.
Right.
I mean, now I'm imagining Drew being the one who strong arms his way into the Money in the Bank match and takes the case.
That is a conversation for next week, I would say. Alright, until then, how many stars you give this one, Scooter?
I'm gonna give it. I was gonna give it 3. I'm gonna give it 3.5 for the fact that they kept Tyson Fury away from this.
Kaliko?
So I mean, that wasn't gonna happen. 3.5 for the match, 5 for the finish.
I give this a 5 stars. The match worked for me. I thought it was a great match. It really showed off Damian Priest as a main event champion, while also keeping Drew McIntyre as a bad guy, keeping the rivalry between him and Punk, the camera angles, everything that happened in this match was played to perfection. It doesn't necessarily get better than this. 5 stars. Alright, the show as a whole. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, Scooter.
Thumbs in the middle.
Kaliko? Oh, did we lose Kaliko? Was he really here to begin with?
What the hell? Wait a minute.
Oh,
hello?
You respawned. Respawn.
God damn it. Thumbs in the middle. It did what it was supposed to do. I literally said that. See, I told you, man. They trying to get me from the ghost of Juneteenth. I think I was the loudest guy in my house, in my neighborhood, playing that concert. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day.
I give it a thumbs up. I enjoyed this show. Alright, that'll conclude our coverage of WWE Clash at the Castle. And we are wrestling with New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 bracket reveal. It was the other day that they revealed the brackets for New Japan's G1 Climax. We're back to a before we get into the participants, we're back to a 2-block a format with 10 wrestlers each. Don't necessarily think you could have did the Dirty 2 gimmick that they've been doing the last 2 years. I don't know if you were able to see what was happening in New Japan with the brackets yet, Kaliko. But what are your thoughts that it went back to a 2-block 10-man tournament?
It's twofold. They don't have enough talent to fill a 32 block. and it goes back to tradition, right? Like, because as much as the 4-block was fun, it didn't give you that every match kind of was important feeling.
Right.
The 2-block makes everything important. It makes every match with every person important.
Let's not forget that they are doing a tournament to enter the tournament.
That's right.
For the final spot.
I don't know how I feel
please don't let Yoshihashi win it. Just don't let it.
I mean, I think it's really weird that Vladimir Kozlov is in this.
I'm surprised that Tanahashi isn't as in that little tournament to get into the tournament. I mean, he's literally the president. All he has to say is, "I want to be in this."
Man, it's to show that he's about to pull some shit out his ass. Either that or 50-50 TJP's like, fuck this.
I mean, TJP is cruiserweight, so he's forfeit for this.
He was originally announced, and then he was placed into the qualifier tournament.
Yeah, he's in the qualifier tournament.
That's so weird.
It is.
But if you've seen the brackets, this is a pretty weird tournament so far. Let's get into it. Block A. First name Shota Umino. Makes perfect sense. He's your next Tanahashi. Needs to be in the tournament. Kaliko?
Yep, makes sense. He needs to be in the tournament.
Scooter?
I mean, considering Takagi is part of the this year's Owen Hart Memorial Cup, I'm afraid Takagi is going to get
burnt out.
He's going to fall to the wayside.
Well, we'll get to Takagi when we get to Takagi. Second name in Block A, Tetsuya Naito. Naito hasn't done anything since losing the belt to Moxley. He wasn't doing a lot when he was champion as well. I mean, Dominion, the second biggest show of New Japan, their SummerSlam, he wrestled Colin Newman. I mean, who the fuck cares about Colin Newman?
Well, that's on New Japan I would have thought they learned their lesson giving belts to AEW cats that's got to go overseas and do, like, other contractual obligations.
Right.
But for some odd reason, that lesson just seems to never be learned.
You mentioned it. Shingo Takagi. In double tournaments. He's a big, strong boy. I think he could handle it. Agree, disagree, Kaliko?
I mean, he'll do. I mean, he'll be a tough out, that's for sure.
Interesting name. I don't know why it's interesting, but Sonata, former champion, hasn't won this tournament yet. Maybe a potential W here. Honestly, I have no idea what he's been doing since he's lost the championship, but maybe it's...
Falling by the wayside. The Sonata slaughter.
Any comments on Sonata, Scooter?
It's a great car to drive.
Great O'Con. I don't see him doing anything important in this. If you asked me 2 years, I would have said, yeah, he's going to be up there. But 2 years, the last 3 years, he's done absolutely positively
nothing.
Yeah. ZSJ, Zack Sabre Jr.
50-50 himself.
Exactly. He'll do well, but not well enough to actually get in there. I mean, he'll be in the running, but he'll get eliminated at the last minute.
ZSJ, interesting fact, his 8th entry and his 8th consecutive.
Yeah. Mr. Consistency. While also being 50-50. Alright, next name, Gabe Kidd.
Who?
Yeah.
Didn't
necessarily do anything last year in the tournament. Just made a lot of chaos, a lot of noise, but not a lot of impact. You see that changing, Kaliko?
I mean, they'll have that one where he kind of gets over on somebody. The question is who.
What?
Because when you look at this list in Block A, and that was the best thing about it too, because Block A or Block B, you could tell what was Murderer's Row, and Block A seems to be more Murderer's Row this year than Block B, barely, but we'll get to that later.
Usually, whatever Block Okada's in is Murderer's Row.
No, because Okada would eliminate half the block fucking before the fucking thing.
I mean, he was the Murderer.
Okado's up in this bitch. Okada snap his fingers, fucking taking half the field off. Shit.
But no, I get what you mean. There was the Okada block, which was, he was going to win, and then you had the Murderer's Row, which was all the big names. But there doesn't seem to be a lot of big names in New Japan right now.
Not really.
That being said, Jake Lee.
Yes, exactly. Next.
Evil.
Interesting.
I mean, when's the last time Evil's done anything significant? Just in life, I mean.
Well, it's not about the interesting, but I can see a 3-way tie into past, present, and future with Naito, Sonata, and Evil. In this, I can see a storyline going through there, like a through line. So that is what I'm looking for to see if New Japan's going to call that back. Because keep in mind, remember, Sonata lost the belt to Naito. Evil tried to come in and bust a move, and Sonata actually helped Naito.
Oh, that's right.
So that's why I said it's interesting to see if they call back back in this story.
Yeah. And I mean, last year in the tournament, he did beat Sonata in the semis, I believe. So, you know,
Yep.
he is able to cause a little chaos when he's able. A Block as a whole. A Block as a whole.
A Block as a whole.
What are your thoughts on it, Kaliko?
Like I said, I mean, Scooter brings up a good point with Takagi. I think he's going to get burnt out because he's going back and forth. If you're looking at this block, you're looking at the heavy hitters that could be the winner. I'm thinking Naito, Sonata, Evil, Zack Sabre. Those are like the four that are like that could actually take this block. And Evil would have to do it by taking out Naito and Sonata. So that's where I you know.
No Shota.
Zack Sabre Jr. He's 50-50, so you know. Shota, it's only Shota if they're trying to portray him as the guy to unthrone Moxley. But that would mean Moxley would have that belt literally till fucking Wrestle Kingdom. Which, based on his schedule and how fucking New Japan just don't give a fuck and give him the Brock Lesnar schedule, it might be. it might be at that point. Like, so, I mean, he has a shot, but I just think if they're going with him being the next guy, him not barely winning this block is gonna do it.
It's tricky. I kind of feel like they would give it to Shota. I feel like a lot. Zack Sabre takes a W on Shota, so Zack gets some kudos. Maybe you see Shota and Sonata in the semis against each other.
Well, it depends on who's in that final block, because you got to also remember they still have to pick between Ishii, Yoshihashi, Newman, Kenta, Chase Owens, and Takahashi. I don't see Yoshihashi. Thank God they got his ass out of the tournament, because he looked disinterested for the last 10 years.
Oh yeah.
But Ishii is interesting because he was always a tough out.
He always got a couple of W's.
Yeah, he was able to get a couple dubs. Chase and Kenta, if he's in it, he could run through it and be a dark horse.
I feel like if that was the case, it would have happened.
If that was 2 years ago,
yeah.
It would have happened when he got back, and that's what I would have thought. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. So that's the story. So the story is either going to be redemption for Sonata and Naito, but I don't see Naito win. Naito because he had his redemption at Wrestle Kingdom. Sonata needs the redemption because he doesn't want to look like a one-hit wonder. So Umino is the future, so they kind of got to, he's got to show that his time is now. And Zack Sabre Jr. will be consistently inconsistent.
Right. And normally I would agree with you with Sonata, but then again, they've been so inconsistent with him when it comes to keeping him on one track. And when he does actually win something, it feels like it's out of fucking nowhere.
And then they set his ass up just to get his ass throwed.
Right.
But anyways, so we'll see. We'll see from that one. We'll see from Block A. But those are the four that I'm looking at: Naito, Sonata, Evil, Zack Sabre Jr. Umino could pull it out of his ass, but whatever.
I'm gonna narrow it down even. I'm gonna say Shota, Sonata. And you know what? Fuck it, Zach. Those are my top 3 picks.
What? I mean, yeah, they usually have the one Gaijin that kills, but, you know, you got to look at Block B because it looks like Gaijin Row up in that bitch. So, hey, let's get Block B.
First, Scooter, who are your top 2 to 3 picks of who should win A block?
Who should win a block? If it's a block of cheese, I don't think Naito needs another. And Takagi, Sonata, Umno, and Great Khan.
Okay. Let's get into B block. First name, El Phantasmo. I feel like they would give him a good bit of shine just because he's the last remaining babyface Gaijin that they have at this point.
At this point, yep.
Yeah.
Feels like everybody's a heel over there.
Unless they drop him, unless they just decide to drop him the fuck out like Juice Robinson. So I mean, it's a
no. That was Juice shot. Juice was getting broke backed up in that bitch. He was there. Nah, they knew what he was doing.
I feel like they could go either way with it, but I feel like they would give him maybe something just to say, you know, Gaijin, thank you for being here as a face. Something like that. Surprisingly, already in the tournament, Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi's partner. Literally just to fill a spot at this point. Kaliko?
Former winner, so I guess they're giving him the shot. I mean, he could pull it out of his ass. We've seen him pull shit out of his ass before.
Usually you need Pepto to do that.
Oh gosh.
Scooter, any comments as of now?
No.
Very interesting name, Yoda Tsuji. I feel like when it comes to stars that could be stars for New Japan right now, it's fucking Yoda Tsuji. If they do it right, he can be the biggest star New Japan has produced in the last 10 years. Maybe more than...
Bullshit! Not more than Naito.
But I mean, that's how they're gonna do it, if they do it right. I'm not sure if he's gonna win this block, especially considering he won the New Japan Cup. But,
yeah, it's very rare that the New Japan Cup winner goes and wins the G1.
Right. So
in the same year.
I feel like he'll do something, but he won't be popping off. Kaliko?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the fact he's got that curse winning the New Japan Cup. It's very rare to see the win both. That's like Alberto Del Rio when he won the Royal Rumble and the Money in the Bank.
In the same year?
It's like, god damn, bro. In the same year. So it ain't happening in New Japan. Although, you know.
Yeah. Alright, next name, Yuya Uemura. I can't imagine that he wouldn't take a W on Tsuji, considering the last time they wrestled, he took his hair. So there's some revenge there. I don't necessarily see... I mean, he could be a dark horse, if I'm being completely honest. he could do something if
I mean,
we give him.
based on this block, it's wide open. This is a wide ass open block when you look at the names.
I mean, you might be right. The next name is Jeff Cobb. Cobb has been the what's the name? The Kaichu, the big bad Kaichu in this tournament for the last couple of years. Not an easy out. But
I think he could win it.
Really?
When you look at it, he's the guy that stands out so far.
Well, we're coming up to a couple names, I would say as well. Honori is not one of them.
Yeah, he's not one of them. Next.
David Finlay. Leader of the Stray Dogs or the Raw Dogs or the Dogs that are dogs.
Whatever the fuck. Yeah. Dogs of... For all the dogs, I don't know, but... Yeah. Nope.
Huh?
Doesn't scream winner to me.
You know, it's just weird because they gave him the victory over Moxley and Ospreay, but then the next month they had him lose to Dolph Ziggler. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
That's my fucking point. That's the point. Like, it's almost like they're looking for that gaijin that can connect with the fans like Kenny Omega, and it ain't happening. But the problem is Kenny Omega was 1-on-1, the guy that was a bad guy but would connect with the crowd because he's of the culture in the crowd. All the gaijins here feel like it. The gaijins that are there, they're there, not saying that they're not happy to be there, but it just seems like that they're not immersed in it deeply the way a Kenny Omega was immersed deeply in it, if that makes sense.
And you're all right about all of that, but I also feel like they don't give gaijins the chance to get over with the crowd. It's always 50-50 booking when it comes to gaijins. We'll give you this one win here, but then we'll make you look shit over here by doing this to you. It's never, consistent booking. It's always 50-50. So how are you supposed to make a valuable player if you don't give them the option to run with the ball?
I think that's a whole nother dynamic because of the fact of Kenny leaving. So they're scared, I'm going to make you my biggest star just to leave. So, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But I don't see Finlay winning it. The block anyways.
I don't see Randorito winning this one either. He kind of fell to the wayside.
See?
And then we have the Forbidden Door name, the name that everybody's interested to say. Called Katsuka Takeshita is making his New Japan G1 debut. Scooter, I'm sure you're ecstatic.
Yes, Kanasuki Takeshita, a number one. Actually, no, he's more like a number two.
Couldn't agree more, Scooter. Yeah, he's not winning this.
You know what? When you look at this block, he's got a better shot than most.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But
he's got a shot. He's got a shot. Because I don't see the only way I could see him not winning that block is if in the tournament the following names win it: Tanahashi or Taichi. If one of those two win it, I think if Tai Chi winning, I think he's winning the block. I feel like he's the type of dude that could run through it.
He's too inconsistent, I'd say.
But that's the point.
He doesn't have the New Japan strong style drive to get through the whole tournament, I would say. Even he said that. The names that stick out to me is Suchi, Cobb, Yuya, I'd say. Yuya Uemura. And I think the rest are just filling a spot. What about you?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, if I had to pick the four that I'm looking at, because this honestly, Block B is wide open. I would say Jeff Cobb, Takeshita, Tai Chi. Those are the only three I could see winning it. Maybe Finlay if he swindles his way, but I don't. It's either going to be Jeff Cobb looking dominant, Kanusuke being motivated because he's already feeling like he's forgotten anyway, Tai Chi finally getting his shit together. So those are the only three I can see like happening.
So I agree. Jeff Cobb looks dominant. That's why he would win. Suchi, because like I said, Suchi can be a star if you give him the ball. And Yuya as a dark horse, like holy shit, I didn't see this guy coming to win this. I feel like he could do it if they give him the chance and look good doing it. What say you, Scooter? Who are you looking at B block?
I think honestly it might be Phantasmo's breakout year.
Well, I mean, we could hope, but hope hasn't got us a lot in the G1.
Yeah.
Is that the only name you got?
I mean, other than that, okay, I'd make the case for David Finlay. With Ren Narita pulling up the rear at a very, very far behind distance.
Okay. So, I'm gonna say your G1 finals is Shota Umino versus Yota Tsuchi, and Shota wins the whole shebang. Kaliko?
Oh, the finals, man. Shit. I'm gonna say Sonata versus Tai Chi. Tai Chi wins.
Scooter?
Becomes the first person to win the tournament from the block tournament to the winner.
Scooter?
We're talking about the qualifier block.
The winner of the B block, the winner of the A block, A block and B block, the finals of the whole tournament. Who are the two combatants from A block and B block?
It will be Wyatt Sick, Great O'Con, and God dang it. Oh my God, I forget what I just said.
Great
Great O'Con. You know what? Screw it. Great O'Con El Phantasmo.
Okay. Well, it will be interesting to see how everything plays out since there's no big stars in this G1. Okada is not going to be in it for the first time since 2013, I want to say, 2012 possibly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's wide open for literally anybody. And you know, that actually makes things a little bit more exciting, if I'm being honest. You know, new era. So we will see how that develops. Until then, we will conclude this our coverage of the G1 bracket reveal and this episode as a whole. Of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us this Tuesday as we join us this Monday as we interview Ozzy Blaze, this Tuesday as we interview Brian Anderson, and this Wednesday as we interview Evan Golden. And join us next Saturday for a preview of Forbidden Door, God help us, and whatever else happens in pro wrestling. Until then, you can follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on Xthread and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Where can we find Kaliko?
I am Kaliko, popping out my, or as they say, gotta pop out and show niggas in my Juneteenth voice. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Certified boogie. Never mind. I will be singing the whole time. Just don't mind me.
And where can we find Scooter?
As always, find me on X at Scooter Dust, and that's pretty much about it.
Alright. For Kaliko Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.